Internet's okay. It's okay. Hey, y'all. Right now, we're just talking to the people who are going to replay this because there's no one in the room yet. But
it's the best time to talk.
It's also the most awkward.
I'll tell you how I really feel.
My name is Jess. This is Maya. We are Roots and Refuge Farm, and we are live. So we go live every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Central and take questions from our viewers and just take the time to connect and have a conversation. So if you are signing on, tell us where you are watching from. I guess I should silence this. So I'm getting on mine from Houston, Texas, Oregon. We have been live a lot lately. It actually feels kind of weird to be on just us because we've had friends here for the last week. Everybody went.
Well, first we did the
live tour.
Great American Live Tour.
We traveled through a couple of states the weekend of my birthday, December 16th, and we visited multiple friends and actually did a couple of live shows with them. Other people had YouTube channels, and then we had a couple of friends come and stay with us that had YouTube channels. So we've done multiple live streams lately, but this is our regular Sunday night thing. Awesome. New Zealand. That's neat. Northwest Ontario, Texas Hill Country. I'm curious where in the Texas Hill Country. I've spent some time down there. It's definitely a beautiful part of the country. I love how so many of the buildings are made out of white rock. It's just so pretty. Hello, Julie from Sacramento, Houston, Texas, West Virginia, Alabama. See lots of people. Hey, Rose. There's Rose. Wholesome Roots is here. She's here going to moderate. Yes, the blue bonnets are something else, Amanda. That's such a Texas thing. Like, it just makes me. I love driving through Texas when it's blue bonnet season.
Massachusetts, Connecticut.
There's Rose
Norman,
Downey.
Oklahoma.
I got my soap.
I lived
Rambling
in Norman
Rose.
for a little bit.
Yeah, you did live in Norman. Yes, I got my soap from other Rose, not Wholesome Roots Rose, but Rose, one of our viewers, has a soap shop in Etsy. Yeah, has an Etsy shop, and I got some soap from her.
Right there. Thanks.
Awesome. So how has everyone's weekend been? I want to talk about the new year during this live stream. I want to talk about, like, if you're a planner, if you're one who sets goals. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
Someone said, "Oh no, Maya, did you catch a cold?"
No, that's just normal.
Yeah, he's just a little bit congested. We have fire cider and all that stuff. He says he doesn't like to take the fire cider unless the cold outweighs the indigestion it's going to cause. He's not a big fan
or the
of fire.
flavor.
He's not a big fan of fire cider. Handmaids. Maya, do you know where?
Do you know where Whack-A-Moy's?
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, no, I don't know where that's at, but if you could start naming towns around it, I'd probably figure it out.
Yeah, Jeremiah grew up in Oklahoma. He was born in Texas, but he doesn't always claim that.
No, I don't. Never.
So thanks for besting you.
I love people, but I don't really love the state of Texas very much.
Lone Star Living. I have a video where my friend Lauren came over and we made fire cider, and it takes 6 weeks. So if you have a head cold right now, it's probably not going to do you very well. But it is definitely a good thing to have going. I saw somebody say hi to the haulers, but I did not see that. There they are. I'm going to give them a wrench. I don't know how long they'll be able to stay in here, but they'll give them the power.
There's someone in Tennessee.
Are
things back to normal? No, kind of.
I mean, today we mostly just hung out and took it really easy, cleaned up the house really just from like the house wasn't in so much disarray, but like I hadn't done laundry in a week. And so we've just been hanging out. We didn't leave the house today, so There's
I don't have anything to wall with.
okay. Well, come here.
Talk to your brothers.
You can come say hi to our friends on the live stream, and then you go back into there and hang out with your brothers. Okay.
I need something to
Say hi.
Hi.
Here's Ezra. You need something to mark with? Go ask him. Oh, here we go. Here's a pen. There's a pen. All right. So we've been hanging. Ezra. Oh.
Hi.
Bye. Rose said hi, and everybody else is saying hi to you. Fire cider is it's like a fermented holistic remedy, I guess, where you put different. It's food medicine essentially, where you put different veggies and stuff inside apple cider vinegar and let it ferment, and it really helps kick head colds. It's really good for any sort of congestion. Someone asked if you guys will please put your questions in all caps. Did you ever get heat for your greenhouse? I've got a small heater out there right now. I actually need to go out there and check and see what the temperature maintained today. So
It's not raining.
there's conflict in the Soward's house. So yeah, I've got that one heater out there, and yesterday it was like 45 and it got down to like 20 something, 28 last night, I think. So I'm curious to see what it is. I'm trying to get it steady so that I can start seeds, because I'm about to start my brassica seeds out there. Path Seeker said, I totally agree, weighing the cold against the indigestion. Fire cider doesn't bother me, but it really does bother him. I did do a video on fire cider where my friend Lauren and I made it. So yeah, the holler said it sounds so quiet in there. In comparison, it's definitely quiet now, even with that little outburst of, so I don't know, Ben and Ezra.
Yeah, I almost didn't pay attention to it because I'm like, that seems like a normal level.
You know, we had 14 kids in this house for 5 days, and we didn't leave hardly at all. I mean, we all stayed here most of the time. We had talked about possibly like going around and kind of seeing the sights of the area. But, you know, the haulers were about to get back in the car and drive. And of course, Ethan and Sarah had to go back to Minnesota, and that was a really long drive with all their kids. And so we decided to just hang out here and not really deal with the holiday rush. And
all the kids kept each other occupied. So we had a lot of time just to sit and talk and hang out, relax. It was like a good break for everybody.
Yeah, it was really nice, except for every day that it got dark. It got just completely nuts. They just lost their minds and started running around and screaming. So
one time me and Ben left.
Yeah.
And Ethan.
Vegan versus...
And they went
they're
crazy.
from the Sunshine Farms. Oh, cool. I didn't know. Don't Poke the Bear said if you need fire cider, no, you can make some, and you can't make some, try Amazon's. I didn't know they had it listed. Elderberry. Yeah, we really do need to start pumping the elderberry.
Amazon makes fire cider?
Probably Amazon doesn't, but somebody makes it. I think there's something
I
about
don't know. I'm not getting fire cider through Amazon.
I don't know that you can buy elderberry stuff that's good. He doesn't trust anything that I didn't make when it comes to that sort of stuff. Or that Lauren, our friend Lauren, is like really into herbalist. Is she on here?
She like sauteed up an onion once and stuck it on
my chest. She made an
chest.
onion poultice and put it on his chest, and whenever he had a head cold, and it works. It will
chest congestion.
Yeah, chest congestion, and it will break up chest congestion. But he gave her a hard time for the rest of forever about the omelet that she made and put on his chest. When am I starting my seeds, Shauna? I'm hoping to get the heat somewhat regulated in my greenhouse to know that I can keep it above freezing. And then I'm going to start my brassicas like in the next week because I would like to get them pretty good and stable by the end of February or so I can put them in the ground. And then I will start peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, ground cherries, tomatillos, all of that sort of thing. On February 15th is my day, but that's obviously really dependent on your zone. I go by 7A. Technically I'm 7B, but we're on a ridge. So Ode is 180 degrees from average. They're still in Iowa. They're not home yet. That was a long drive. They stayed last night at
somewhere near Hardiness Approach.
Hardiness Approach.
They stayed in a hotel.
Yeah, they hung out with him. Yeah, so you need to figure out what your last frost date is on your seeds. I saw Rose said that. For me, I do February 15th for all of those things because I want them to be about 6 weeks in on our last frost date. You don't want to start them too early because then your plants will get root bound and they'll get stunted and it's not good. But if you start them too late, they won't have enough time to get established. So you find out what your last frost date is and count back 6 weeks. And that's whenever I start all those
What's
things.
our favorite dish to make with leftover turkey? There's usually not leftover turkey.
I've made turkey pot pie before. And
Seriously though, there's usually
not leftover turkey.
Ham. And then we make ham sandwiches or just eat it like dwarves.
And turkey, like chicken noodle soup, but with turkey. I've done that before. If I have turkey that is like extra, but usually there's not after holidays. Yes, I'm absolutely going to grow noodle beans again. I've got the red ones. And then they also, Baker Creek had this one called Thai. And it's like a green one with red streaks on it. That's really pretty. So I'm going to do that noodle bean also. Let's see. Let's go back up. How would you advise going about advertising and selling plant starts? I would check and make sure that you don't have any laws that you need to be aware of before doing that. And then if there's any sort of like extension office or gardening group, if you've got any sort of gardening club, seed bank, like look on Facebook groups, especially like here in Arkansas, there's like an Arkansas farm and garden Facebook group, or like an Arkansas, even just a livestock group. Sometimes you can say, is there anybody that knows anything about a plant sale? I'm actually going to be signing up for a couple of different plant sales, as well as hosting one with VW Family Farms on our gathering. We're going to go ahead and host a plant sale. And obviously at this point, I've got the advantage of having YouTube that I could probably sell plants for people just opening at my home. But before I had this, I would find plant sales and also just list on Facebook groups. You could sometimes, if you're not looking to do a farmer's market always, sometimes you can contact a farmer's market at the beginning of the season and say, hey, I have plant starts. Could I get a booth for 1 or 2 weeks? And you don't have to do it the whole summer, but go and sell your plant starts, because that's a great place to sell them, is at farmer's markets.
Favorite coffee brand and brewing method. Our favorite coffee brand is probably a place called Onyx.
That's a local place. They
it's at
roast it
Northwest Arkansas. And your favorite brewing method is?
The Chemex. I have a Chemex pour over, and that's my favorite way to brew coffee. I'd like to try a French press, but also right now I'm trying to drink less coffee. So,
yeah.
What are the best things to grow when first starting raised beds? What region are you in? Because that's going to really affect that. And my mind always goes to like, well, if you have 2 raised beds, can you put a trellis between them? There's a lot of factors to that. Tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers are all good things, except for cucumbers. I would use some sort of trellis with them. But those things all do really well in raised beds.
I think that's our horticulture geek on here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there they are.
Hey, guys. Show that. Yeah, horticulture geek. Hi. Those are some of our new friends that live local that we got to visit with the other day.
How will you go about choosing which tomatoes to grow this year? The answer to that is all of them.
I won't grow all the ones I have. I couldn't possibly grow all the ones that I have. It's silly how many tomato seeds I have. I've actually been going through them. I narrowed down my peppers that I'm going to start. So what I do is I have all my seeds, and then I narrow down which ones I'm going to start. And then from there, I narrow down which ones I'm going to plant, because I do sell starts. And so I'll start more than I need, and then I'll kind of shop among what I start and fill in all the spaces in my garden. So I narrowed down to 50 pepper varieties to start, which I won't be able to plant all of those. And then
the Ethan? The Ethan.
And I will.
Ethan is our leader. Ethan chooses who must go and who must stay.
Oh my gosh. So I will figure out. I will probably start around 100 tomato varieties, and then figure out what I have room for. Will you be growing teas? I grew lemon balm last year. I'll definitely grow lemon balm this year because it's incredibly invasive and it's seeded in my garden. So like it will come back whether I want it to or not. And we make tea out of that. And I also grew holy basil, which is a great Tulsi tea. But if you have any other suggestions of teas that would be good to grow, I'd love to hear them.
Any desire to take up beekeeping?
Yes, we actually plan on getting bees in the spring. That's probably going to be your thing more than my thing. Wouldn't you say?
Probably. We're getting a nuke from the Vincents.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start two hives this spring, and we'll probably both learn about it and learn how to do it. But I imagine that'll be Jeremiah's spearhead. The spring is a really, really busy time for me, because he helps me in the garden as far as doing like more manual stuff. But the garden's kind of my baby, and so that takes a lot of my spring up. Heirloom permaculture planned a tea garden for friends. I would like to hear about that. Spearmint makes a great tea. I've grown spearmint and mint.
Lemon balm.
I haven't used those for tea much. I guess I have harvested mint some for tea, but like I never dried it for tea. I've used mint fresh a lot and made teas with it or mixed it with other things. Shauna, I do have a blog. Which is actually where I originally wrote the pear tree story. It was actually on my blog. I don't think I've put anything on my blog for about a year. And it was sporadic before that, but it's called The Hodgepodge Darling. And if you Google that, it'll pop up. It's had enough traffic to kind of be at the top of that search. So if you put in The Hodgepodge Darling. Hey, there's Deep South Homestead. How are you guys doing? For those of you who don't know about it, we'll go ahead and throw this in here since I saw them. On March 9th is Deep South Homestead's gathering. And they're in southern Mississippi, and they are hosting a gathering that is free to attend. It's a one-day event, and it's just people coming from all over. There's going to be a seed swap. I'm actually going to be speaking at that gathering, and they have information on a Facebook group sharing about that. I know that they just announced yesterday that they had t-shirts for it. But the Facebook group, I believe it's called Deep South Gathering, but you can definitely check that out. Deep South, do you have a link for your Facebook group or anything that people can come find more information about that? If you're not already following them, y'all go ahead and go subscribe to their channel. They have a really good channel. They're doing a lot of great stuff down there, and they're so gracious to host this gathering.
Oh, I was like, wait, did something die? She's talking about the football game. I was like,
yeah, he's.
It was actually pretty good turnout. I didn't honestly if we're just being realistic, Oklahoma was nowhere near as good as Alabama. I mean, maybe last year's team was as good, but this year's team definitely wasn't. So
Oklahoma lost to Alabama yesterday.
Yeah, but we
we
didn't get blown out. Like the team didn't get blown out. We actually made it a pretty decent game. It's at least respectable against the best team in the nation right now. So it was better than losing 50-something to 0. Oh, also, Jessa Dyer says, "Can you wish my mom a happy late birthday for me? Her name is Terry."
Happy birthday, Terry.
Happy birthday, Terry.
Shannon, for seed swaps, I've used purchase seeds. I've totally swapped purchase seeds, split them up. Generally what seed swaps do is you split seeds up into different little packages because, you buy a package of tomato seeds. Sometimes there's 50 tomato seeds in there and you really only need like 5 if you're wanting to just grow that one variety, a couple plants of it. And so you can split it up into 10 little packages and keep one and swap 9 of them with other people. So totally, a lot of the seed swaps that I do, I'm using purchase seeds.
So I will say this, I'm glad that it wasn't a complete blowout, but if I keep seeing a bunch of roll tides, I will put you guys in time. I didn't say it didn't hurt a little bit. All right, it's a little too soon.
Oh man, yeah, I'm not a football person, but they all sat out here and watched yesterday.
Yeah, kind of watched.
They knew that it was going to be a loss, but they were just hoping it wouldn't be like a total spanking. Xavier, what are 5 projects you want to accomplish this coming year? One thing that we're really focused on right now is getting to excellence. I don't know if that makes sense. Like the things that we're
So
doing.
like you ever started something and then haven't ever gotten it to like be like really well done,
Yeah.
and then you move on to the next thing?
We don't want
got
to be in
some
survival
things-
mode.
Right. We got some things that we need to do better at. There's some things that we're doing really awesome. Like we plant stuff, it grows good. You know, our chickens are doing very well.
Yeah.
There's things we want to do better about the goat routine. There's things we want to do better with the horses and actually start using them to fill a purpose, not necessarily to work the land, but just to, you know, go riding and brush them and work them and build that relationship. So there's things that we want to bring up to excellence, and then we want to slowly add things in and do good at them. I mean, honestly, jumping into bees, honestly, if that was the only new thing we added, I mean, right now we're learning pigs and we're jumping into bees. That might be the only two new things we do. Oh, and then we have quail. See what I'm saying? Like we haven't done everything well, and we're already adding things in. So I want to get good at everything that we're doing.
We have some fencing. We already have the materials. We've had the materials for several months to finish fencing our woods. We have 2 acres of woods that we're not currently using. And so when we're talking about getting things to excellence, like our goats, they would be healthier because, you know, I mean, moving animals around like that helps with parasite load. If we could go ahead and fence in those 2 acres of woods and get our goats over there and give them that browse. And so while our goats are healthy, they could be healthier if they had more space. So that's what we're talking about. Before we get too much that's new, we want to make sure we have everything that we have. We want to be at the top capacity of everything that we're doing. The garden in the back is something that we are going to do. Somebody asked a little while ago if we're going to get wood chips.
Yes, you can have bees on 3/4 of an acre. That's true.
Oh, yeah, you can totally have bees.
People put bees in their backyards. Honestly.
Yeah, people have bees in town.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the Deep South Gathering Place Facebook link. Yeah, okay. Alan, thank you for posting that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at on things. I'm about to give VW a wrench.
Oh. He might not want a wrench. He just got off for like 6 days.
So Ethan got the Eventbrite link up and ready for April 6th. That's VW Family Farm reminded me about that. We are hosting a get-together here in Arkansas alongside VW Family Farm at their place right outside Rosebud. And they it's going to be really great. Ethan made an Eventbrite for that. Do you have the link for that, Ben? And essentially what the Eventbrite does is it's just where you can go and RSVP so that we have kind of an idea of how many people are coming so that we can make sure that we have the proper accommodations like porta potties and food trucks and all of that stuff to make sure that we have everything that's needed. There's the Eventbrite, and it also, because this is out near their house, it doesn't give the address. It doesn't make that address public to someone that's not registered. So you have to register to kind of get all the information as far as location. But it's right outside Rosebud, Arkansas. The closest area to camp is Heber Springs. There's like a large camping area. One of the more popular lakes here in Arkansas is pretty near their house. And the closest city to stay in is Searcy. Now we are going to have limited spaces the day before and the day after from that event that people can come out to our farm and visit. We just don't have the parking to just make it like a fully open day. It's going to have to be registered spaces. And if you're wanting to come to our place and come to the gathering, Conway is the closest town to both of our homes. So we'll get an event right up for the registration.
I think the closest event to PA is going to be HOA, Homesteaders of America.
Yeah.
But other than like in the state, I mean, honestly, I don't know of that many gatherings up in the Northeast or the Northwest. Like I get lots of questions on these lives about Oregon, Washington,
but we just don't know about them.
We just don't know about them. And honestly, I don't know of any channels that operate out of there that I've met. Yeah. Online. So those, I mean, we just don't know. But the South is because we're close.
Homesteaders of America, there were multiple people that I met that came down from Pennsylvania. It's pretty close to Pennsylvania. Far. It's in Virginia. So Homesteaders of America is probably your closest. And that, I think, is probably the largest gathering every year. I'm not sure, though. The Spring Planting Festival in Baker Creek is supposed to be pretty big. So let's see. When starting seeds, does container size matter? Jill, I'm going to start a lot of things in 6-packs, but I also have 2.5-inch pots. I mean, they can get bigger and bigger pots. So that's really just what it boils down to. So if you're starting things really early and they get to a certain point and you still have time before you can move them outside, you might have to transplant them. That's just the only thing. I have had to transfer mine before whenever I started in 6-packs, and then they really got too big and they started getting leggy and competing for light. I had to move them all into larger containers. Can you please do a vlog on your salsa recipe? I am in Australia and drowning in tomatoes in the moment.
It's like we have no tomatoes.
I wish I had fresh tomatoes to show you exactly how to make it. I might have something like that. I might have made a video about that. It might be buried somewhere in a vlog. I'll look and see.
Maybe you did. Maybe it's your 4th of July.
Yeah, I know I made some on the 4th of July. I don't remember if I vlogged it. I don't know. I made a vlog on the 4th of July, and I know I made it that day. But yeah, I'll have to type it out and see if I can post it somewhere. Yeah, Vivian, it's okay to start in larger pots. Just make sure you have loose soil. Can you feed quail on ground up roasted mealworms alone from hatching? I have no idea, Jen. We used game bird pellets, and this is game bird crumble that we then further ground. Maybe Rose knows something about that. She has done quail longer than me. This is my first time with quail, so I really don't know. How are you liking the Bootstrap Farmer Flats? They're awesome. I really like their stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to get into the seed starting with all of that because I have only used them so much. I started some stuff out there and it's all sprouting, but now I can't remember what it is. I hope I can find the note that I wrote down where everything was because I don't remember what I planted in those. I know one of them's kale, but in a little while I'll be able to tell you what they are once they're more than just sprouts, but I don't really remember right now. What's happening with your hoop house plan? So we did get approved for the NRCS, the Natural Resources Conservation Service grant for a high tunnel. We have 1 year to fulfill that. Basically, we have 1 year to cash out on that grant and build our high tunnel. And we've talked about it and decided we're going to wait until later on because in Arkansas, a high tunnel is not useful in the summer. From like May on, it's really going to be from like May until probably September, October, it's going to be way too hot to use that. We'd have to roll the sides up.
So we could do a bunch of work to essentially just have it open.
Right.
And not really doing anything. Or we can focus on other projects and get the greenhouse up towards the time when it's going to actually be needed. So I think what we resolved to do is focus on the window greenhouse and the other projects, like getting the bees set up and all that. And then we'll assemble it. We'll get the kit and do the greenhouse towards the end of summer.
Right. And have the greenhouse, the high tunnel ready for when the weather starts cooling off to do our winter gardening in next year. Citystead, I do not have the link, but if you will Google NRCS high tunnel grant, you'll find it. You have to go get a farm number. You have to go to like your local ag office and go through, like we went through the application in person. We didn't do it online, but if you Google that, you should be able to find those offices for your area. It was a little bit of a process, but not too bad. How much will it cost us?
It shouldn't cost us anything because we can assemble it ourselves.
But it's a reimbursement program, so you pay up front for the high tunnel, which is something like
$6,000,
$6,000 to $8,000, depending on the features.
What kind of kit they give you a list of companies. And they all have different features and framing styles and different kits come with different stuff.
And different sizes. I mean, we don't have to put the massive one in. We might end up going with a smaller one, but you end up getting reimbursed like $3.40 or something like that per square foot. And so if you pay for it, if you pay for the labor, you won't get as much, you might end up being out of pocket. If you do it yourself, you can pretty much get the kit reimbursed. And that's what our plan to do is. So, when are you starting your brassicas and when will you plant them out? I'm going to start my brassicas this week, hopefully. I'm trying to get the heat situated in my greenhouse. And whenever they get good and established, I'll probably plant them out the end of February. That's zone 7A. Our last frost should be the end of March. Last year it drug into like April 20th or something crazy, but frost doesn't bother brassicas once they're established. So I'm going to try to establish them in the heat of the greenhouse and then move them out by the end of February. Frost-kissed kale is a variety. No, yeah, frost-kissed kale is not a variety. That does mean that it had gotten some frost on it. Like if anything, like once things like brassicas, like kale, once lettuces, a lot of times, radishes, carrots, a lot of those things, once they've been through the frost, their flavor gets a lot sweeter because essentially all those sugars in that plant concentrate because they're doing the best they can to stay strong and hardy through the cold weather. And so it does some really cool things to the flavors and makes them a lot sweeter. So my favorite pickling cucumber, I would say, is I really like National Pickling Cucumber. It's pretty basic. It's, if you're looking for like a mid-size, nice, warty, crisp cucumber that stands up to canning. But what I found is like National Pickling. I'm looking at you, and Jeremiah's gonna be like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Cucumber.
It's green. It's long. It looks like a cucumber.
National Pickling, Boston, Chicago. I've found most of those to be very similar. One that surprised me this year was the Armenian White, which is technically a bitter melon, but you use it like a cucumber. I really liked it for pickles. The texture was a little bit different, but I really, really like that. So I'm going to do pickling cucumbers, probably National Pickling as well as Parisian, and which is kind of more like a gherkin, and then also the Armenian.
Also, heirloom permaculture. They do not cover any kind of shade cloth at all.
Yeah.
That'll be a separate purchase, and I'm assuming it adds on a considerable amount.
Yeah, I'm sure that shade cloth would be really expensive. Rose said she'll be giving away her spreadsheet for spring seeding plan based on your last frost for free. So y'all have to go check that out because I'm sure that's a really great resource.
The webcam keeps messing up.
Let me look at. Okay, I forgot. I got to read the comments on my phone. My laptop is glitchy, and so it does that when I touch it. I forgot. I'm glad y'all told me that. Have I caught up on sleep after the holidays? After everybody left yesterday, I think I stayed up for a little while, and then I think I went to bed and read at like 4 p.m. And all the boys and Maya and his brother sat out here and watched football. Rita Rose Wholesome Roots. She's one of the moderators in here. Rose, if you'll comment again. There she is. She was saying that she had that resource, that she would have that available. So you can connect with her to get that. Dan Gentry said say hi to his wife, Beverly. Sitting beside her will make her giggle. Hi, Beverly.
Hey, Beverly.
I need to look down here so I don't accidentally touch the computer again and make it glitchy. Go for it.
No, maybe you.
Do you need to add lime to your compost pile, or is it okay not to? I don't know much about that. Maybe somebody here who has done my compost pile. I mean, I have composted many times without adding lime to it. I think lime probably helps keep the move it along faster, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I've not been very technical in composting. I've just basically gone
one of those things we need to improve on.
Yeah. I'm so excited about growing this year. It's really kind of setting in right now how excited about growing that I am, because I've just been walking out in the garden and looking at it and kind of looking through the seeds and getting an idea. Now that, starting seeds is now. It's time to start the brassicas and the cold weather stuff that's going to go out. And I'm just like, man, it's awesome. I'm very, very excited. Will I be doing fermentation? I plan on it. I did a little bit last year, not a whole lot, but I'm planning on doing more. If my cabbages will hurry along, I'm planning on doing some fermenting with those.
Also, yeah, the quail are doing great. They're all feathered. Everyone's good. I think we're about to start dividing them up into cages for permanent, what did you call it, where they're going to be staying.
Yeah, we've got to sex them too and figure out which ones
divide
are the males
everything
and the
up
females.
and get it separated. We have 3 whole cages to use, and they're feathered now, so they can stay outside.
And they're like 4 weeks old, I think, maybe a little bit older. I mean, they should be laying before too long. They start laying around 6 weeks, so. That's funny. Kyra, rewatching all of your garden tours, and I'm so incredibly excited. I spent $55 in seeds on Friday. I feel you. Like,
2-family homestead.
Your grandkids, your grandbabies were there with you guys. 2-family homestead. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Those are the best kinds of kids, aren't they? The kinds of kids you get to hang out with, play with, buy stuff with, and then send them home.
Jay and Long said brassicas and cold weather stuff. Yes, it's the same stuff that you plant for the fall garden. Here, where we have mild falls and winters, we plant the same things in fall and spring. There are some carrots that I can't grow in spring because it gets too warm for them too fast. But for the most part, everything that I grow in the fall, I'm going to be growing again in the spring. It'll just be another wave of all of that. So I'll be starting peas. You can start peas pretty early. These are things that can survive frost. The only issue is that it has to be warm enough for them to germinate. So a lot of the things I'm going to be starting in my greenhouse, and I'm actually planning on starting some peas in my greenhouse and seeing how they transfer. I have never transferred peas before. I've always direct sown them, but I saw them at the feed store last year where you could buy pea starts, and I thought I might give it a try. So,
I might give you a jump.
Yeah, I mean, anything that you can get started inside is going to give you a little bit of a jump. But kale, lettuces, cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli, some flowers that you can start a little, or like calendula, you can start before it still might get frosted on and it'll live. How's the remodel coming along, Sweet Maya?
Remodel's on complete pause.
Yep, we've done nothing. Nothing. We've done nothing for days.
Busted my butt so hard. I'm talking. There was one night I was up for almost 48 hours from one morning until the next evening, trying to get Malia's room done and the room ready for Ethan and Sarah. And Ben showed up and he helped me do some things, and then we got it all done. And I haven't done anything since, and I'm probably not going to do anything for a few more days because I just don't want to. I want to break for a minute. So. It's Malia's room looks awesome. I think Jessica will probably throw it in the vlog here not too long.
Yeah.
And the music room's coming along. We're gonna have to wait on the carpet, but honestly the electrical and the HVAC is really
it changed our plans.
It changed our plans, but I'm glad that we got it exposed and dealt with. But we're gonna have to wait a little bit now to get some of the other details done. But
because we did all of that stuff, and that pretty much ate our budget. That we were gonna put carpet in the music room, we were gonna do a lot of cool open shelving and some really neat things like that, and the budget's just gone now. So that's okay. Honestly, with our HVAC being completely done and our electrical now being safe and sound, it's totally worth it. To put a pause on those other things. We'll be able to get the basement to a really nice place. It just won't be finished. It won't be trimmed out and like all the floors and everything.
I still have materials and stuff to do, but there's just going to be some things detail-wise that get put on hold. So we'll figure it out.
Ben asked if the pig waterer is leaking.
It is weeping. It's down about like an 8. Part of it's she's drinking it, and part of it is weeping slightly. So when this runs out, I'll fill up her buckets and I'll pull it out, and I'll probably flex seal the inside and the outside because it's just a small drip, and that should address it.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's do that.
What?
Amy put their website. Okay, so my cousin Amy, and I'm actually going to do this.
Oh, absolutely. We make 2 strong recommendations for anyone in this area.
So Amy just shared the website, daviscomfort501.com. That is, Amy's my cousin, and her husband is the one who did our HVAC, and he did such a fantastic job. And really, I understand because, I worked in the permit office for the city of Sherwood where I grew up for years and years. It's where my dad works. And And I understand the panicky feeling like when something in your house goes wrong and you have to get it fixed, because honestly, there's a lot of dishonesty in it. And so having an honest person is really beneficial. And that's their website. And also Bees, Britton Eccles Electrical Service is the one who came out and did our electric and just did such a good job, took good care of us. And I just really strongly recommend those two. Thank you, Holler Homestead, for that. I've seen a couple. Somebody asked about growing watermelons. I've grown Moon and Stars, which I really liked, Jubilee, which I really liked. A lot of the more basic ones that like you can buy starts. One that I'm really excited to try this year is called Orange Glow. And it was multiple people. They did like a taste test at Baker Creek. And I know Doug and Stacy did the taste test. And Mike from the Fit Farmer did the taste test, and they actually held a taste test at Baker Creek at the expo. And Orange Glow was like the top rated across the board. And it's all one word on the seed packet, Orange GLO Glow. And I'm really pumped to try that one because obviously everybody said it tastes good. It's orange flesh watermelon.
You keep saying alpacas. Is it the same person?
Started
with tomatoes. I don't know who you are.
You're going to get on Jeremiah's.
You only got a few more alpaca statements before you're going outside.
Oh, they know that.
And yes, I do have the authority to do that.
Little Creek Homestead said, how did you do with all the people at your house?
It's one of those people. You threaten discipline. Like, yes, bring it on. I'm like, you can't do anything like that. Oh, great. Here we go.
I did. Oh, gosh. It's starting
I'm going to go hang out with the kids for a little bit. I'll be back.
It was really good. It was such a relaxed time. Honestly, it was really a wonderful time.
It was so good.
And
honestly, it was really funny is when we were leaving, or everyone was leaving, I was staying because I was like, oh man, I kind of want to be the one leaving, but I'm staying. But went up, gave Ben a hug, gave Meg a hug. We talked for a few minutes, gave them a hug again, talked again for a few minutes.
It was hard.
Gave them another hug, talked for a few minutes. And then one more hug, and it was just kind of like that, like awkward, like slow walk to the car. And I kind of like went and checked the mails, like trying to
see. I checked out. I'm terrible at
She's
goodbye.
She's good bad at goodbye, so she just like.
I was like, see you guys. I just pretend like I'm going to see people next week. That's how I say goodbye to people. I just pretend like I'm about to see them again. So, it was really good though. Everybody was so laid back. It wasn't one of those times where you're hosting and there's a lot of social strain or demand. And truly, like, I can't tell you how many times there were just laptops all over the table and we were working, or, just there was so much good conversation, but there was also so much time that was just really relaxed. The kids had a blast. They were wiped out every night. Yeah, Meg said Jess disappeared. I did. When everybody was saying goodbye, I was like, all right, I'll give you a hug and talk to you later. Bye. I went inside because I just I do get kind of emotional and I don't know how to handle goodbyes. I'm just never been very good at that. So
yeah, I haven't watched the video of the top 5 states. I hope we made at least the top 5. Horticulture
Geek just said, do y'all need more corn dip? That stuff was good. That corn dip was so good. Everybody ate that up.
No, I got over the empty house blues pretty quick whenever I came in, and it was like, kids, go to your room, and it was just quiet. I just laid on the couch.
Can you do a video on the cinnamon rolls? I could do a cinnamon roll video, except for I'm about to start trying to stop eating sugar. So I can just make
you can do one more time. One more.
Like one last hurrah on the cinnamon rolls to make a video for Mama Woods.
They are delicious. Just ask the people who are coming here. They were great.
They were really good. So the goat cart project, that question keeps coming up. While we were in Alabama, one of our baby goats, one of our bucklings passed away. We had like 6 straight days of rain. I'm assuming that's what it was. We were out of town, so I don't really know.
It seems like that always happens to us.
Yeah, my brother-in-law was here with Noah, and he was taking care of the farm, and he called me and was like, this goat's down. I just don't really know. And so we start walking him through what to do. And so he took the goat to isolation, and we were on the phone with
the guy, our goat grandpa.
Our goat grandpa is what we call him. But
he's pretty close. And I basically called him. I said, here, I'm out of town. This is the issue. he said, have Noah bring him to me, and he'll keep him and keep
and
try
nurse him back to
diagnose and
health.
nurse him back to health. And
And
before Noah could even give him to the car, he passed.
The goat actually passed away in his arms. So we have the other buckling, the other twin. We were going to weather both of them to do the goat cart thing. And it was actually, we had, because of like Jeremiah's mom passing away, and actually Vincent from VW Family Farms came out one night to weather them, and we didn't have the right stuff. And it was like multiple things kept happening that we couldn't weather these goats. And so we actually have the one buckling intact, and we're actually going to keep him intact and keep him because we have gotten rid of a lot of that breeding line now. And instead of having him as a wether, we're going to keep him as a buck to be able to breed. So change of plans on that. It's something we still want to do eventually, is to build a goat cart and do that. But obviously it didn't work out on these, which really stinks. But it is part of farming. So that's the honest answer. Don't worry, Bobby Joe. It's okay. I actually much prefer to deal with those hard truths in like a live setting rather than having to put them in a video, because honestly, like the people who watch these live videos are people who are really invested in our channel, and the views on these are really great for like a day, and then nobody watches them. Live videos don't get watched. And if I put it in a video, like an actual vlog, people will be commenting on it for 2 years. So
and the thing is I'm already went through my grieving process, and I'm, gotten over my frustration.
He was really upset because, even though goats do die, and it does happen, and actually goats are fairly fragile. They're not horrible. I don't want to turn anybody off from getting them. They're totally worth keeping. But, it still stinks, and you still have to deal with it.
I don't know. I felt very powerless being out of town. I checked everything before we left, and everything looked, like I said, every time I go out of town, I make sure to run through the list of things to do. We check islands for worms. We make sure there's plenty of hay. And when you're out of town and something like that happens, you literally just feel powerless. You can't do anything to prevent it. And you think, well, maybe. Honestly, it's a very similar feeling like with my mom. What if this? What if that? And it's just, it sucks.
Yeah. Bobby Joe, I'm sorry you lost your Nigerian dwarf. It's so hard. It's so hard. And it's one of those situations where, like, I don't like to be morbid, and in that case, I'm sad that we lost that. I'm sad that we lost that buckling. I do always feel a sigh of relief that it's not I have a handful of does that losing them would make me seriously consider keeping goats. In a situation like that, if I lost one of them when I was out of town, and, wondering, could it have been prevented? But it does. Someone told me once, where there's livestock, there's dead stock. And that's a true statement. Even when our goats are healthy, but that's one of the reasons why we're saying, I didn't even touch it, and it's freaking out now.
It's okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Actually, someone's sending us a webcam. Should be in our PO box today or tomorrow.
That it will be really nice, because my camera on my laptop is glitchy. My laptop's kind of old.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to.
Thank you, Mary.
Some of that stuff.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that we're actually we don't want to get anything else new really until we do this fencing to give our goats more space, because even though it got really wet, it's if they'd had more space, maybe the parasite load wouldn't have been so high. We're assuming that's what happened. It could have been anything, though. We have no way of telling.
I don't really know, because he was with his mom in the back.
He was still nursing.
And they have the most space and the least amount of goats.
And so I don't think that it was parasites. I don't know if they got into something or what. I have no idea. We were gone for 3 more days after he died, and so he was buried by the time we got home. So there was just no way. There was no way to know. So,
anyways, that sucks. Moving on.
Oh.
We will definitely be coming back to this idea, probably this next breeding season, or maybe the next one. I'm not letting it go, but it's just not going to happen right now.
Yeah. Yes, Rose, barber pole worm, and I think, I don't know, that could have been what it was for sure. So, and the rain. If you have goats, the rain causes it to be kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm excited. Do you know how many people have sent me amazing pictures of their gardens with cattle panel trellises in it and said, I learned this from you. I just love that. That just tickles me so much.
It could have been a snake. We have lots. We do have water moccasins and copperheads in this area, and we've seen a few, but
I
not
would say
many.
it's unlikely this time of year that it was a snake.
But it could be.
But it could have been.
And honestly, because of his size, it could have been a poisonous spider.
Yeah, it's just there's
really no telling. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
There's some things that, it has nothing to do with your routine or what you're doing. Like, it just happens. And like, to me, it felt like this was just something extraordinary because it happened so fast. And after,
we literally, before we go out of town, we check everybody's eyelids. We look at everybody to make sure nobody's acting weird because we don't want to get out of town and have an animal that could have been prevented. So we're not sure at all what happened. Somebody asked how long the cattle panels are. Are they 16 feet or 18?
18.
18 feet?
I think. Could be 16. I don't remember. I put them on my 18-foot trailer, and they usually go the whole way.
Okay. So 18 feet? I'm actually...
Could be 16. They have different lengths at our feed store.
My favorite radish is probably French breakfast. I would say that's probably my favorite.
It's probably 16. Everyone's saying 16.
Okay. Then 16 is probably what it is. It's just whatever they have at most stores. So, and they're all the same.
No,
so
our feed store has different lengths.
Oh, do they?
But I think we get the longest one, so it's probably
Okay.
16.
What am I looking forward to growing this year the most? Pretty excited about those orange glow watermelons. I'm really excited that one of our viewers sent me more Tanya's pink pod beans. This year I only had like 4 little plants, and I'm excited to just grow a whole row of hot pink beans. And several different tomato varieties that I'm really pumped to try. I got a variegated leaf tomato from Brad Gates from Wild Boar Farms, and I'm super pumped about that. So that's just a few of the things off the top of my head. I'm trying a lot of new stuff this year, and so I'm really excited for a lot of those things.
Becky, don't be worried about snapping the cattle panel. You're not going to. The worst you could do would be bend it, but those things are not going to break. They give on purpose. That's why they're set up for cattle. Cattle can flex against them and push them, and they're not going to snap. Like, the worst thing you'll do is bend it a little bit out of shape.
There's a channel. He was on here a little while ago. He might have had to go. I know he's got little kids. It's called The City Stead. It is his channel, and he's in Michigan. And I really like his channel. I really like it. If y'all will go give him a follow, if somebody wants to throw a link up to his channel, that would be awesome. He did the arch cattle panel after he saw us do it, and he actually made a video about it. But he did a really cool thing that I thought was so smart. He actually took ratchet straps because he didn't have a truck. Or maybe he had a truck. No, I don't think he did. I think he was using an SUV, or he had a truck and he didn't have a trailer. Even if he had a truck,
it's not going to be long enough to hold a 16-foot cattle panel.
He took ratchet straps and bent the cattle panel over at the store and put ratchet straps around it and ratcheted it down so it was bent in half and held down so that he could transport it without a trailer and a truck. And I thought that was so smart. So he's got that video up. About his cattle panels, and he showed that he had ratcheted it down. If you want to go watch that, I thought that was really smart, because one of the main things that I heard, because the video that we put up about arch trellises is one of our most popular videos. It's got like a couple 100,000 views, and the biggest problem that people commented was either that cattle panels were too expensive in their area or they had no way to transport them, which I understand. I mean, even with a regular truck, it's pretty precarious bending cattle panels over in the back of your truck because putting a lot of leverage on that thing, it could just pop right out. But I thought the ratchet strap tip was really smart.
Yeah, I knew you could probably do that, but I just like simplicity. So,
well, you have a trailer.
I have a trailer.
So I mean, like, it doesn't, like that just kind of simplifies it. When you have a trailer, you just use it. But yeah, when you bend them over, they go right. The working momsteader said they bend back fine, and they do. Like our cattle panels, we've had them bent in place for an entire growing season and taken them down, and they're a little bit bent, but they end up flattening back out eventually.
Someone said, "Let my hair down, and the alpacas will go away."
Oh my gosh, they're bribing you with harassment. They're blackmailing you.
I feel like a politician right now.
I believe we will eventually have alpacas one day, but I am even saying right now, I don't want them right now. Now, I mean, if somebody brought some alpacas to the front door, we would
take care of them.
Yeah. He said it. You can bring him. I'll tell you our address if you message me.
Honestly, with some of the people that watch our channel, I would not be surprised if alpacas showed up. Just saying.
There's Big Bear Homestead.
$70 to $80 in West Texas Homestead. Holy cow! We get them for $20.
Oh, cattle kennels are that much?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Wow, really? $70 or $80? That's nuts.
Our raised beds are different sizes.
The long ones are 48 feet.
And then we've got 220s, 412s, and then the 4x4 squares.
Yep. Well, 122 and 126. But yeah, they're we just kind of did various sizes to fill them in that space. I love our long raised garden beds. That's something that a lot of people say, oh, don't make them more than 8 feet.
Did you get Beverly's and mine email? No, we haven't checked any emails. Not unless you're talking about right now.
I may have gotten your email. I'll go and check, Dan. I will go and check. I've got a lot of messages to respond to right now, just all over the place.
We get our cattle kennels from the local feed store called Conway Farm and Home Supply. And they're a little bit cheaper than anywhere else I've found.
They range in this area between like $20 and $27 or something like that, and we get them for $20 at that place. So yeah, my garden beds are 48 foot long and 4 feet wide are the long ones. Then there are other lengths. There's some 12, some 22, 4x4, but they're all 4 feet wide ish. We used reclaimed material, so sometimes the measurements aren't exact on those. But yeah. I buy part-time permies. What time is it? 7:58. Okay, we got a few minutes, and then their live stream is going to start.
How are your quail? Quail are good. Conway Farm and Home Supply. Yes. It's right by where they're putting in that new Sam's and the Academy, right off of Dave Ward.
So somebody else just asked something that I was more devotionals. Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about what to do next on the devotionals. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff. I've been doing some writing and some different things. So I'm kind of trying to decide what I'm going to do next on the devotional. But I will have one up here before too long. I'm thinking about it. I got to make sure. I don't ever want to do them just for the sake of doing them. I want to make sure I have something to say. So I'm kind of figuring that out. All righty. Thank you guys so much for your encouraging words. Tamara, no, they're on my desk. I will send those out this week. All righty. So I think we're going to wrap it up. It's close to 8 o'clock. Somebody asked, is there's like a limit that we have to abide by? Like we could go live for hours, but because my children are being little darling angels in the back room playing quietly, I don't want to push that. And also I do want to be respectful to the other channels who have live shows. Part-time permies, they were just on here, but they're going because their live show starts at 8. So I usually try to wrap it up to make sure that everybody gets to go visit those as well. Artisan Bard, yes, some-ish into winter sewing. I've looked some into that. I'm actually going to be reading it. If you have any good links or anything about that, just if you'll send me a message, I'd like to read more about it. Somebody said, Ireland Permaculture said, come see us in Tulsa. We have got some traveling. I'll just go over this real quick before we wrap this up. We'll be in March, we'll be at Deep South Homestead's gathering. In April, we'll be here at our own gathering with VW Family Farm in Rosebud. In May, we'll be at Baker Creek's Spring Planting Festival. We'll be speaking at that. And then I know for sure we will be in October at the Homesteaders of America conference. Those are the things that are absolutely definite right now. And right now, that is the traveling that is on our calendar for this year. We don't actually travel just a whole lot because it's hard to find somebody to watch your farm. So,
July, Michigan.
So that's what I know for sure. I don't know about any of the other gatherings. I would like to go to them, but our support system's changed a lot over the last few months with losing my mom. And so it's not as easy for us to go as it used to be. So, yeah, so those are the things we definitely have down. All right, so I think that's going to be it for tonight. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I've got some cool videos coming up for you guys talking about the new year and some different things, some cool things I've done with some other people. But
don't forget to check out moderators.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you for that.
Holler Homestead, 180 degrees from average.
Wholesome Roots, Two Family Homestead,
and Big Bear Homestead.
Yeah, you all go give my moderators some love. They make this possible. So go follow their channels. Your subscriptions make a big deal. I just can't express to you enough. Make sure you're subscribed. Just go watch
VW Family's Farm's recent video. Andrea's just crying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you'll go follow these moderators, because truly, like, make sure you're subscribed to the channels that you watch and that you're engaging with their videos, because that tells YouTube that their stuff is good, and then it helps them grow. Not just because you're watching it, but it tells YouTube to show it to other people. So if y'all would go give them some love, they make this live stream possible for us to be able to do. And we will be live again. Yes, one more thing. Safe travels to the Holler Homestead. The Hollers are making their big announcement to where they're going to be settling down on the 1st is when their video is going live. So if you haven't already subscribed to them, make sure y'all go and hit the bell.
Ready. You aren't even
ready. You're going to hype it up.
You aren't even ready for what they're about to release. Like, honestly, that should be the biggest live video on YouTube.
I think, is it going to be premiered? Is that the plan?
Oh, it's not. Oh, if not, they should do it live right afterwards.
So. No, I think it's going to be premiered. So there's going to be chat during the live premiere.
Okay. Something like that. Because you guys aren't even ready.
Yes, it's going to be premiered.
Because they told us.
Yeah. So
we have the information right now. We will not tell you.
Okay, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, January 1st. Holler Homestead premiere. So, yes, go love on my moderators, please. And that's just wrong. And y'all go give Part-Time Permy some love.
And we're going to go home. We'll go over, get some hot chocolate, some coffee or something, and talk about where the Hollers are going to be staying in the future. Because we can.
Oh my God. You're so tacky.
I know.
You're just so tacky.
Either you love me or you hate me.
So yeah. Will somebody, real quick before we close on this, will somebody link Part-Time Permies? If I touch my computer, do the strobe thing on the check out Juicing Gardener for winter sowing. I need to make a note of that because I would like to. I don't know just a whole lot about that, so I would definitely like to.
They're all like, "Tell us, we won't tell." No.
Heck's not. You gotta go watch.
Yeah, go support that channel.
Okay, is that Part-Time Hermes? Homesteading with the Huberts? No, I don't know.
They had to sign off.
Yeah, I know. I was asking somebody else to put the link up. I think, is that what that is?
No idea.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so hopefully we can get it. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you, Jerry. Super sweet.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right. We bless you guys.
Bye.
We'll see you next Sunday, 7 o'clock Central Time. Same time, same place.
It's always the same place.
Good night.
Good night.